and morals, and we focus on surviving, being protective of one another, teaching each other what we need to do, how we need to do things to get from point A to point Z. And finding out equally as well that not only on my side of the family or my wife's side of the family, just about all of our families, we pretty much come up the same way. And I often tell people to remember where you come from, because if you can remember where you come from, you could appreciate that you have arrived to. And more or less, it was a lot of talking about uh, the past, the raising of not only sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, and grandmothers and great grandmothers and great greats. Come to find out, a lot of us, our foreparents were slaves or come out in the tail end of slavery. I wasn't a slave, or my parents weren't a slave, but they was coming out from that changeover period of time and witnessed a whole lot of things. Even myself, I witnessed during the period of time of the civil rights movement. I didn't know what was going on because I was a child. But more or less, I was thinking about the Thanksgiving reunion that we had, and we were just appreciating one another, the family, and the family that we come from. And our foreparents, they was teaching even back then, and how to have something. You don't have to settle for less. You can be pretty much anything you want to be, but you have to stay focused and aim and set your mind to having something. And I was told quite a few different stories and was reminded of a lot of stories on my side of the family. And listening to some of the stories on my wife's side of the family, how her grandfather and great grandfather was raised and came up, how they, in that particular time, how they were sharecroppers. And I used to listen to my father tells the story about the sharecroppers that during that time, the plantation owners and the slave owners would have you would work your crop as well as theirs. And sometimes they didn't have money, so they couldn't pay for things. So what they would do is use their sharecrops to pay for the different things. You could go to the grocery stores and what have you, and different places and get credit. And it was funny in a sense because they say you never did pay your bill off. You almost paid it off. So it kept you in the hole when they would when the crops would come, would grow, and they began to do what they had to do to cultivate and motivate, do the things that they had to do to collect the crop. And what they would do, the owners would let them use so many acres or a certain percentage of the area for themselves, and then they worked the crops, and they wouldn't pay them too much, a whole lot of nothing. But I found out that they would pay with their crops, and once they would collect their crops and get ready to pay, and once they paid, say the owners would always tell them something like, you just about broke even, or you broke even. They never did really get ahead, but some of them had a little crop, or they had other avenues where they could get a little hustle on, where they would work their crops and then at so much, and then they would go work somebody else's crop, and then go and work someone else's crop. So they would break even pretty much so with their crop, but they was always able to earn a little something else and begin to buy acres of land themselves. I was told that one of the grandfathers had 15 acres of land, and as he began to grow and sell the stuff on off of his land, say he didn't make a whole lot of money, but come to find out he was also a bootlegger. He was good at it from what I heard, and he made extra money. So what he ended up doing, every year he would either buy a half an acre or another acre. And right now today, that family have two cousins down there that oversees over 90 acres of land that family owns. And they rent it out to different people to do different things, to plant soybeans, cotton, beans, and just about what they want to do. But it just goes to being we a race that found a way. My father would always tell me, you make some money, in education. Education, market education, it's good to have it because it. But tell me, uh, make bags of peanuts and sell them for, at that time, a dime a bag. I think they're about $2-3 a bag now, but at that time, he was saying like a dime a bag and make money. He said you could pretty much do some of anything. Go out and collect bottles, and you could junk and do all kind of different things now. And I would always tell people, and I'm always talking about business and how even then they worked with one another, how they would get together and work each other's farm and their crops. And once they got through with one, then they would go and work with another. So that goes back to collaborating, working with each other. They wasn't had that craft syndrome. Everybody believed in helping one another. And that's something that we try to practice and we try to teach and let people know now to do all you can do to help the next man. You had one family maybe was raising corn, another one might have been raising greens, another one might have been raising watermelons, tomatoes, okra, different things and what have you. So they learned how to barter, which one didn't have, the other had. So if they didn't have money to go and buy certain things, they would go barter for some corn or okra. The one that had the watermelon patch, he might trade it off for some corn or okra or something else of that sort. So I'm just saying that if there's a will, there's a way. And we always can learn how to do better, help to meet the need, work with one another. That's something that I often talk about, collaborating. Even right now, today, I find myself often trying to work with people and learn it. And most important, you have to have a good word. Your name have to mean something. My father, if he took pride in his name, he said, they would say, well, if John said it, you don't even have to worry about it. If you could just about bank on that. Well, all of us should be the same way, that we say what we mean and we mean what we say. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, people should be able to know you by your name. And to have a good name is almost like having $1 million. A friend of mine said, you don't have to be a millionaire, but if you know one or can get close to one and he know you, it's just like having it yourself. Because if that person really know you and know the type of person that you are, he would do all he can to help you. Just like, he know your worth. You know that you do all you can to help him. So when time comes to pass, if you need him, he would be there for you. In a lot of cases, that's what was happening back in those days. The families had a good name. No matter what their name were, they had good names. And if one season come before the other, they knew that if I gave them something or they gave me something and I told them I was going to take care of this business at a certain time, they knew that when that time came for me to take care of business, that it was going to be taken care of. So don't just, today I found that a lot of people would tell you anything you want to hear just to get what they want. I've also found out that people would tell you and promise you pretty much anything to get what they want. Credit, to borrow your money, if you had a deal, say I would give you this item for cash for $1, but if you want it on credit, it'll cost you $10. So they'll rather pay the $10 on credit than to pay you $1 cash. And they could if they paid you $1 cash, they could save themselves $9. But a lot of times, some of them would pay it, that $10, but based upon that decision that you make brings about consequences, because you can spend that $1 and save $9 and be able to do something else with it rather than take and pay the whole 10 and can't do too much more when the time comes. So let your name and your word speak for you. Today, I just wanted to share that with you, and remember collaborating and working with one another, and that we all come from somewhere. And I told my son to remember where you come from, remember what you didn't have, so when you do have something or you get something, you can appreciate it. Thank you for listening to John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the El Kimalan Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one. One brick, one building, one block at a time. Thank you, and have a great day.